This is the Aussie NFL Fantasy Show.
You know how sometimes the first play of the game can be a real tone setter?
Aussie.
Yeah, I basically just went with Ashton Jen Teabag.
NFL.
He's not a walking 7 for 70 as I learned last week when he went 1 for 5.
Fantasy.
I'd probably lean towards taking Henry maybe ahead of McCaffrey just because of what I've seen.
The Aussie NFL Fantasy Show. Loading.
Australia's premier NFL fantasy football show is back for the Aussie Gridiron Network. This is the Aussie NFL Fantasy Show. And now we've got 2 weeks of knowledge to work with. Do we call it knowledge? Because, I don't know if us fantasy owners even know anything at all after those 2 weeks. They call me Matty C, and after what was a much higher scoring week 2 of fantasy, joining me is Australia's finest fantasy analyst. Welcome back, Tay. How are you, mate?
Matty C, tonight we have a man named Cam. Let's hope it doesn't feel like getting hit in the face by a can of Spam. Let's fucking go.
That seems I don't know. Are you talking from some experience here? Have you been spammed in the face before?
I don't know. I haven't had a lot of spam experience, but I feel like it's one of these things that as you get older, you kind of just are okay with. I feel like when you're a young man, you look down on that shit like it's beneath you, and then, because it is basically a can of fucking mattress in there. But in the end, it's kind of a salty treat now, Like I said, I can't even remember the last time I tasted it, but I do remember it being better than I thought it would be.
Mate, I feel like I should judge you for that, but I kind of feel like we're on a unity ticket there. I don't mind a little bit of salty treat. So I'm probably lining up to share a can with you. What's wrong with me?
It looks fucking gross. It's probably better to do a blind taste test. I'm certain it tastes better than it looks because it could not taste worse than it looks because it looks like shit.
I mean, and this is what people come to the Aussie NFL Fantasy Show for. They're coming for our chef's hat analysis on meat in a can.
I hope you didn't want fantasy advice. It's all about spam tonight. Spam-related questions.
100%. You should look in the mailbag. But, mate, this is just another one of those great hats. You love analysing things, and you will even analyse meat in a can. Just ask him. That is the strength of Taylor Goodall. Mate, I need to ask what's going on your screen because it is just for my benefit and the benefit of our guest who joins us tonight. But I always like to ask you because there's often something going on. This is a little disconcerting.
Matty C, there's a bit too much foreskin flapping about, mate. I would have brought it up for the Sunday show, which I probably still will. But it's basically, me and my husband, Keenan Allen, just, hanging out. Getting accidentally caught on the Coldplay monitor of us, enjoying some time together. So, yeah, look, so sorry to my wife and kids, but I guess I was found out with Keenan Allen.
Just on a retreat, were you, with Keenan? Just getting a bit of professional development.
Of course, that's us at all.
All right, so there is a beautiful picture of you and Keenan Allen. This is not going to be the last time we talk about Keenan Allen this weekend, folks. So strap in. There's going to be a lot of those references. Mate, Tay, I just wanted to spend a couple of quick minutes on the Aussie NFL Fantasy League updates because we've got 4 leagues running, a gold league, a green league, a blue league, and a red league. Do you want to give us a quick update on the 2 leagues you're in? You're in the gold and the blue leagues representing us against 9 listeners in each.
Yeah, mate. Like I said, so thankful to everyone for jumping into these leagues. The support we've got in the podcast just keeps growing, and to see Aussies and honestly some Kiwis in there, really, really sort of following the podcast.
Kia ora.
Getting more and more interested. It's great. But in the blue league, I'm sitting at 1-1. Shout out to at Will Murph 03 for leading the blue league at the moment on 300 points for.
Irish brother.
So shout out to you, mate. Great start for you, but I'm coming for you. 1-1. We all know it, mate. In the gold league, I picked up a win in that one. I was actually 0-1 after a shit first week, but I won week 2, so I'm just sitting outside the top 6th and 7th. Big Kev is actually leading that league still. He's 2-0 with the highest points for on 335. So good work, Kev.
Wow, that's 165 points a week, Kev. What are you doing, mate? Jesus. What do you guys let him draft? What's the matter with you people?
Yeah, it's rare for Kev to be going well in redraft too. He normally just fucking drafts like 100 young guys.
Yeah. Yeah, it's almost like he forgets what redraft's about. Mate, I'll give you a couple of quick recaps. I'm in the Green League as well. I redeemed myself after missing a win in the first week, but I knocked off week one's highest scorer, or Getty's lads, in a bit of a blasting too. I really fucking rammed it up him, so take that, mate. And moved myself up to fifth, but a good match, well played, all fair in love and war, and hoping to press it home this week against Zydix, who has got off to a bit of a tough start. And currently, I was going to give a quick shout out to the first in that league. Green League undefeated teams here. Josh UR, which I love that, is Josh UA. So Josh UR. J Love Island and Pin the Tail on McConkey, which is a great name, by the way. Those are the three undefeated teams at the moment. Red League's a bit of a battle. I tell you, I don't know if you've seen I've been doing this, but when I'm about to match up with somebody in every league this year, I've been sending them an extremely banal and toothless smack talk. And I might have told Delhi's dream team this week that his team smelt of onions.
Oh, yeah. So, that sounds like a Matty C kind of a shit talk.
Yeah, no, it's not pointy, but fuck, it just lingers, mate. It's a slow burn. And most of the week, I was killing this fucker. I was just absolutely ahead. And then just in the last, Sunday night football and the Monday night games, lost steam and lost by 4 points. So subsequently, my team name in that league is now Smells Like Onions. So I had that coming. I'm 0-2 and looking a bit toothless, really. I said toothless twice in there, but really, I think that's the best way to describe me. Rob Symes, his team, Mock King, is my target next week. So hopefully he's my get right because he's on Burrow replacement watch. So hopefully I'll come after him. Undefeated teams in that league are Jai L2 and Josh 22, who are cruising along in third gear for now undefeated. So well done. The winners of these leagues come the end of the season. Whoever wins them or whoever gets the first place that isn't one of us Pelicans, if either of us, I'll tell you, it sounds like you're fucking up against it. The winner of these leagues will get a cool AGN prize pack. You'll get about $100 worth of gear from the AGN merch store, including a jumper and a shirt and a hat, probably a sticker, that kind of thing as well. So they're pretty cool, and we've been so blown away. We've got 36 people to want to play leagues against us, and mate, it sounds like the fucking competition is really giving it to us.
Absolutely, mate. But sitting at 1-1, don't forget about Dre. Don't forget about Tay, as I should say.
Oh, yeah. 100% still take, in fact. Mate, the other thing that I'd like to do quickly before we get far into the episode is quickly talk about a couple of spuds who've just kind of let us down, and wondering if we can dispatch any of these to the Pentagon, get them out of our teams, and whether these are people whose names shall no longer be Spank. Lightning round on these. Give me 30 seconds on whether you think any of these should just be dead to us. Mark Andrews. It's not been good.
That's my entire analysis. I had a super coach actually reach out to me last week and give me a start sit between Ferguson, Fergie Ferg from Dallas, and Mark Andrews, and I was solidly on the Ferguson side and actually won him his matchup. So shout out. I just can't stand. Like, I have issues trusting the Ravens passing game week to week. Like, that's why I actually said last week to hold off on Flowers for a little bit for super coaches, obviously trading him in, but obviously just people going a little bit too gung-ho because they have these weeks where they have spike weeks and then they just drop off, and then they just run the ball well, or things get spread out to people you wouldn't even expect in the passing game for the Ravens. So, yeah, I just don't trust Andrews week to week. What was he, 1-2 last week? I'd punt him, honestly, and likely's getting closer and closer to coming back as well. So, yeah, I just don't trust it.
Yeah, I think he's got grand total 2 catches on the year. This one's tough. Marvin Harrison Jr., 2 catches for 27 yards. You can't drop him, but could you bench him?
I think you could. It's not going.
Would people go ooh if you did?
you need a decent enough option, obviously, to do that. I do.
There's 70 players who can get 2 for 27, Tay.
I'd probably stick with playing him, especially when you drafted him. Also, last week against Carolina, because they had the defensive touchdown so early and like they got in front so quickly, it never felt like they needed to do anything but run the ball. So I do think there are better days ahead for the passing offense, but yeah, not great. I wouldn't move away from starting him now. You would need a pretty decent option, but yeah, he's on watch, put it that way.
I mean, and you can't trade him because you're only going to get cents on the dollar. So, like, wow, stay in the flames, peeps. Cortland Sutton, my boy, 1.6 points. Yuck! Okay, do you bench him?
Gross. Yeah, this was another reason in the preseason I gave you, Matty, and it came to fruition for Bo Nix last week, and then it came to fruition for Cortland Sutton this week. I know it was a higher scoring game, but I don't know. There's just something about this Denver offense that I like the running. I like J.K. Dobbins, and that was it. Like, I didn't love, like, it felt like to me that Sean Payton was always going to just kind of run his wide receiver room by committee in a way. And I always thought that Sutton would be at least the one getting 100% of the snaps and everyone else mix in. But Sutton played like 75% of the snaps in this game. They were sort of mixing Troy Franklin in and Pat Bryant, and they were just going around sort of just a carousel, of wankers and just bringing everyone in. So, yeah, look, I no, definitely don't drop him. I could see a world benching him in certain ups, but yeah, it's hard. Again, you'd need a pretty decent option. So, yeah, unless if you don't have a great option, obviously keep playing Sutton. But there's definitely guys I'd probably play over him.
Oh, yeah. It's God, it's going to stink the time that you put him on your bench. He goes and throws up 22, isn't it? 2 more to go, real quick one. Njoku, so they had like 8 points. In most years, you'd say, that's tight end. But dude, this was like tight end 6 in drafts. Like, ouch.
Yeah, I'm not dropping him. I've got him in a couple of leagues, and I don't have plans.
Still starting him?
I'm still starting him because it's fucking tight end. The tight end
is fucking tight end. Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't need to do that much. Has he been super duper disappointing with Flacco? Yes. Has Fannin just sort of taken away a lot of his upside? 100%. But he's not going shit enough to just completely throw away, because it's like, who am I throwing away for? Like, if there's like a duo, if John Johnson's out there or Zach Ertz or something, maybe. But I feel like those guys
have been
picked up by now. And, I just don't trust a lot of the guys on the waivers that are going to do better than Njoku, so I'd keep playing him, but it's not great.
So he was going to be our Tucker Craft. Last one here. Time to panic on Omari and Hampton. I think 8 combined fantasy points in 2 weeks, and he's just got no juice.
I was writing this in our chat. I think it is 100% concerning, because this was his moment to take over this backfield. Like, Najee is only going to get healthier as the season goes on, and this was his moment to just say, "Fuck you, Najee, you're an old piece of shit," and I'm just gonna take over this backfield. But he hasn't done anything with it. So Najee's only getting healthier, and he's only going to grow in snap count. So my concern is, like, you actually saw Omari and Hampton's best opportunities right now, and he's done nothing with it. So that concerns me, because, I mean, I didn't draft him anywhere. I had my concerns. I actually always worried that Najee was going to be way more involved than Hampton owners wanted anyway. But I also held out hope for him and his talent being taken in the first round, that he would actually do a lot more than this with the opportunity. But he's done nothing. So, yeah, I'd be concerned. I'd be benching him for right now. I wouldn't be dropping him, but I would need to see more, and I need to see how the stat counts play out with Najee moving forward, because, like I said, I think it's only going to get worse for Hampton.
Yeah, again, you can't trade him, can you? Like, that's the thing. So, yeah, that's a tough. You hit the pine, Hampton. Hopefully things can turn around for him.
G'day, Gridiron.
Anyone that hasn't joined us before, it's pretty simple. Let's kick it off, eh? Is everyone ready?
The 4 horsemen of NFL in Australia.
If the sound ever plays, the pick is officially in.
Nick the lineman.
So it's the worst against any team, and it's also the worst passer rating that he has against any team at 66.3.
Brad the coach.
The Steelers have held the Ravens under 20 points in 7 straight games.
Isaac the analyst.
For this one, I couldn't understand it either. Like, I don't think they're making the playoffs.
Ian the Viking.
Full of passion, full of fight. They might genuinely be interesting to watch again.
Previews, overreactions, and bloody best bets.
If Derrick Henry can get rolling, then I think it's no contest. The Ravens are going to win.
As a fan of the NFL, you hope he comes back because he's just an absolute beast when he gets on there.
That would be able to give, at least Justin Fields a chance to be able to build.
Let's move on after that insanity.
So I just think, though, it's going to stop here.
Defensively for the Bills, I don't think that's actually going to combat what the Chiefs do already.
Yeah, I guarantee you, Pete would get down on his knees for that.
G'day, Gridiron.
I love spreadsheets. I'm a spreadsheet man.
I love spreading my legs.
Twice a week, all season long on the Aussie Gridiron Network.
Week 1 seemed a little slow for fantasy points, and week 2 all of a sudden kind of felt less weird, like Land of Milk and Honey. But week 3 is here, and we're welcoming in a new voice to the podcast. And maybe he isn't new to you, right? If you do an Instagram, right, you've probably run into our guest with frequent contributions as at fantasyfootball_down_under. Or you may have bought an ice cream from him at some point. Please welcome in Cam Duncan. Welcome to the show, brother.
Good to be here. Thanks so much. Hope I'm better than a can of Spam. So, yeah.
I am told that is a much higher bar than you think.
What a great chat off the bat from two wonderful podcasters, right?
100%. Mate, Cam, it's great to have you on because you've been quite active in fantasy football for quite some time, and you've got this great presence with your account over on Instagram, and you've been around it for such a long time. How did you get into it?
Man, I started playing fantasy about 15 years ago. I remember the first draft I ever did. I had the first overall pick, had no idea what I was doing, and I picked Ray Rice. And that year he was absolutely terrible. I ended up losing the league. But then after that I got hooked, started joining more and more leagues. And, you know how it goes, man. You get the bug and it's all of a sudden you're in 15 leagues and you got no time to spend with your kids, So.
Hey, Tay, that sound familiar?
Yeah, my kids don't even know who I am, mate.
Yeah, there's a couple of photos of me in the lounge room, and I think my wife occasionally points to them and goes, "You remember your old papa?"
Yeah, back in the day when you used to have a father.
Especially this time of year where it's not just this stuff, it's also the ACT gridiron stuff. But, mate, so you've been playing for ages, but you've got mate, I love, this is just for the benefit of us, I think, is that you've got this wonderful man cave that you're working out of that has all these great, like, sporting references behind you. It does tell me a little bit about sort of the part of the country that you've got all your allegiances with. What's the significance of Arizona sports?
Yeah, well, I lived in the States most of my life, so I just moved back to Australia back in November of last year. But I lived there for 25 years, man. I lived in the Valley, Phoenix, for 20 years. So I lived most of my life there. And then became a fan and had my heart broken in the Super Bowl and in the NBA Finals by the various teams. And you know how it goes. So
I don't know how it goes. My team's never made the Super Bowl. Yeah. Tay, do you know how it goes?
No, I do not.
Yeah, okay.
Close calls, but no, nothing lucky.
Can you tell us how it goes, Cam?
Well, it's devastating. It's devastating. Okay. We had the lead in the Super Bowl with 1:30 left, and lost it. So, but anyway,
I'll tell you how much I love that Larry Fitzgerald touchdown too. It is my favorite touchdown in Super Bowl by a wide receiver because he just caught it, and the Jets, he just ran away from men. It was, it's fucking beautiful.
Well, I used to be a season ticket holder for the Cardinals, and I was actually at the 2016 playoff game with Aaron Rodgers through the two Hail Mary passes to end the game. And then Larry caught the pass, ran it down for like a 75-yard catch, and then ended up running the ball in on a shovel pass. We were at that game, and it was crazy. But yeah, man, Larry's a legend in the Valley.
Reaching for the pylon. Iconic moment.
Awesome.
Man. Well, the fantasy football is part of why we've dragged you here. The Cardinals fandom, does that get in the way of your fantasy much? And the Jags fandom, for me, does not get in the way of fantasy because I know that's generally steer clear of my team. But how do you approach those two things? Because, I mean, it's tough to have your fandom and then also, not let it cloud what you do.
Yeah, I used to, man. I used to draft a lot of Cardinals players and, just trying to so you can cheer for your team and your players at the same time. But that turns out to be a losing proposition a lot of the time. So now I'll only pick Cardinals players if they're there. But it's been a rough go with, I'm not too sure about Kyler. Sometimes he's the greatest quarterback you've ever seen, the most incredible athlete on the field. And the next game, he's, a complete turd. So, it's tough.
Say, a whale shit, would you say?
Yeah.
that's an old reference.
Whale shit's bigger than
I think that was week 2 last year. You said, gee, I love Kyler. And the analysis from the podcast will be, Taylor called Kyler a whale shit. He must hate him. No, he loves him.
Take it out of context completely. It's just like, whale shit's obviously a good thing in my vocabulary.
Which Cam gives you a bit of an idea of the tenor of what you've walked into here. But you've actually been supporting our podcast, and we're really, really grateful for your support. And it's been great that we've been able to go back and forth on Instagram and with and just in chat too. It's been fantastic to really make a connection with you, brother. So thank you for joining us. And we're going to put you through the ringer a little bit because we've got to go through a bunch of breakout players. We're going to play Tipping Point as well, which is going to be a bunch of fun. And we'll run you through a little personal challenge at the end. So if you're ready, let's get the war paint on and get into it.
Let's do it.
This is the Aussie NFL Fantasy Show.
All right, about time you cut to me there, Matty. Thank you very much.
And foreskinning, yet another dick joke.
I'm no gorilla, but I'm taking the one-on-one.
Zombies, because I don't want to be probed. Why don't you tell me, Matty? Why don't you tell me?
Can I swear on this podcast?
Yes.
I reckon Manjot's mum and towel is up, though.
The Aussie NFL Fantasy Show.
Tay, breakouts for week 2. I tell you, week 1 was an abject disaster. Do you have any idea how we went with breakouts for week 2?
I think you went all right. I fucking went shit house again. I got close with the tight end game. One thing that I didn't quite get it, but I was happy with that call. But the Cardinals fucking stack thing just didn't work. They got, like I said, they got in front, and then they just didn't really give a fuck, and then they just completely stopped playing in the second half. They let Carolina back into it, and it just completely sucked them dry of any fantasy points.
Cam, you were watching that, and you were not stressed at all in the fourth quarter of that game, right? That was just a fucking cakewalk.
Yeah, I think we lost pretty much all of our defensive backs. We had lost our guys early in the season to a season ender. I think we lost 3 defensive backs in that game. And then all of a sudden you had Ted McMillan going crazy. I honestly thought they were going to do it. And Cardinals have the worst luck against the Panthers. So
that's true. Oh, my God. The worst. And there were some years too where there were just playoff games where if you took everything as equal, you just go, the Cardinals are going to win this. But then you go in and you're starting, I don't even remember the name of that horrible quarterback who was the backup to the backup of Carson Palmer. It was, the Cardinals have terrible luck against the Panthers. I'm glad you were able to hang on to that because you've got this 2-0 start, which I know people say, well, it's against the Saints and the Panthers. But, I mean, that's 2 division wins, so you got to be happy with that. And I was glad to see that happen. But the part in that game I took was the Ted McMillan end. I'm like, I'm going to go Ted McMillan for 100 yards. Tay, do you know how many yards Ted McMillan got?
I think he got 100.
He got a straight 100.
Perfect.
Yeah. I kind of feel like a bit of a fucking genius, okay?
Said exactly 100 too, right?
Bang on. Not one more, not one less. Just chef's kiss. So that's my walk-off homer. I'm done for the show now, guys. You can take it from here. I'm going to retire.
All right. Sweet. See you, mate.
Not before I talk about my Drake May call, too. I took him for 25-plus points, which I think, on the face of it, that's bold as shit, considering he had really done fucking nothing in fantasy ever. And he goes and throws up 26.3. So I also kind of feel pretty good about that. And I know Kev was smiling when he was listening to me say that. No one's been a bigger Drake May for fantasy fan than the Croc Hunter. So they're the only 2 I can actually hang my hat on. Everything else I said was not good enough. And we've struggled a bit trying to find breakouts. But the problem is we're not picking run-of-the-mill calls. We're saying these are guys who we're hoping will really blow the barn doors off. So for us to have much success at all is really sort of, there is a lot of luck that gets involved in it. But what we do is we try and pick the places where we think it's most likely. So, we're definitely showing that there's some success in that, Tay. So we're not disheartened at all, are we?
No, not at all, mate. We'll keep rolling, and like you said, we're not trying to make calls that are just like 50-50 chances of hitting. We're trying to actually hit something that really matters, and really fits the whole criteria of it being a breakout. It's not a fucking breakout if they basically do slightly better than what we expect. So we're trying to hit something big.
Now, I don't want to embarrass BOWDO much here, but he must have had the worst run of luck I've ever seen on breakouts. He had Fields as a top 3 quarterback. He scored 3 points. He had DeAndre Swift for 20 plus or 2 touchdowns. He ended up with about 5 points. It was a fucking disaster. Marvin Harrison for 20 plus. Cam doesn't want me to repeat what happened there. And Dallas got it for 17 points. He didn't even step on the field. So, Cam, feel good that there's probably no possible way anything you bring today is going to be worse than poor BOWDO. That's rough.
Poor BOWDO.
You feeling confident on the back of that?
Yeah, you know what, man? I'm feeling pretty good about some of these breakouts. So, yeah, I think we got some ones this week. Yeah.
Well, what I usually do is start with Taylor, but you know what? He's old hat at this. I'm going to come to you first this week, and I just wanted to. I usually go by position, quarterback down to tight end. Maybe you pick the breakout you're the most keen on, and then we'll all work from that position. Who's your biggest candidate for breakout this week?
Well, this week I have running back Jordan Mason for the Minnesota Vikings. So Aaron Jones is now on IR with a hamstring. And with also the quarterback McCarthy's got a high ankle sprain. So I think they're going to go against Cincinnati, who's given up the second most points to running backs through the first 2 weeks. And I think Jordan Mason, they're just going to run the piss out of the ball with Jordan Mason. So, I'm looking at a top 10 finish for Jordan Mason, 100-plus yards and a touchdown, 20-plus touches total. I think he's going to get all the volume. So, top 10 for Jordan Mason.
Oh, my God, Cam. I can't say anything because I had 90% of what you just said written down. I'm going to slam dunk on the back of you because I had him there for like 20-plus points. But you and I, we're simpatico. Tay, what did you have for running back?
I actually had a guy that, funnily enough, like no one wanted to draft. You and I actually liked in the preseason, but then there was all this narrative that he may have not even been the starter, blah, blah, blah. And then I even took him as like my running back 3 in a league, and everyone laughed at me basically, and it wasn't a pick that anyone liked. And I'm now starting this guy, and with a slightly bit more confidence than I think I probably would have in week 3. But I'm taking Javonte Williams up against the Bears. I'm still going off last year's data. There are certain teams that you can target based off the 2-week sample size. I think there is a couple that are definitely sort of, ripe for the picking, but generally I still wait till sort of week 5, week 6-ish before I've got enough data from this year. So I still generally base it off last year. So my data has the Bears as 29th against running back over an entire season last year. They don't exactly seem to be doing much better with that this year so far anyway. So yeah, I just think Javonte has this role. He's got it sewn up. It's basically a bit of Miles Sanders behind him, and they don't even dress Jaden Blue. He's just a healthy scratch each week. So, yeah, I just think Javonte is clearly the most trusted back that they have. He gets the goal line work, and he's honestly been huge in the passing game. When he had 6 catches last week as well. So he's kind of game script proof at the moment. Even if they are behind against the Bears, which, they might not be, there's obviously a chance they're going to lead this game as well. So I just feel like they either lead or they don't, and he's going to be relevant either way. So I had Javonte as a top 8 running back this week.
Cam is he's just punching the air. We were both drumming like Animal from the Muppets while you were saying this. Cam, what do you like about today's call?
Oh, that was literally that was going to be my other option if somebody took Jordan Mason, man. I think he's going to have, he's just been, if you got him late, I think I've got him in the 12th round in the league. I've got him very late in another league. I'm just thrilled,
And no one liked it. If you took him, no one was going, oh, fuck, I can't believe Cam just got Javonte. That's going to screw us. It was a pick that you just made because you needed running back depth. It's no one was excited by it. And like I said, I have that league that I was talking about, I have Aaron Jones in, who's now on IR. So having Javonte was just a fucking miracle, honestly, because now I can slot him in with confidence.
Absolutely.
I had him about...
And the Bears defense is giving up, I think that's fourth most points to running backs right now. So, you know.
So you said 29th last year, Tay. They're 29th now on just the small sample size they've got. So they're just the same old Bears. And people make that joke all the time, but I kind of are. But I had Javonte 10 places higher than consensus at running back because I believed, and it was probably one of my two very best calls at running back. I think the other one was Travis Etienne when people weren't keen on him, and he's definitely turned up all right. So every time I hear somebody pump Javonte up, I kind of stick my chest out a little bit. I feel very good about it. So, and it's difficult to work against it, right? He's had 20 plus points in each of his first two starts, and he just looks super, super trusted. He was the back who was getting the lion's share through camp as well. So it's probably not to be unexpected. Tay, I'm going to stick with you to go to your next position where you've got your favourite breakout candidate. I like this format. Let's just go with who's your next most favourite breakout candidate.
All right, I want to go with one. It's going to sound gross, and it's actually in the same game. On the other side of the ball, I'm going Caleb at quarterback. It doesn't sound good, and that's why picking a breakout in this scenario, that's why taking someone that people are going to probably vomit when they're in their cars hearing. I just love the matchup, honestly. I obviously, he had some garbage time sort of stuff last week, and if you actually take it over an entire season, he actually is actually for fantasy a little bit better than probably people even actually realise. It's not amazing, but I think this is going to be one of these games where he has a get-right game, and this Cowboys defense just gave up fucking 400-plus yards to Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson, my goodness. If Caleb can't do it, if anything, this is the moment where Caleb kind of needs to actually stand up and prove it, because if he can't do it against this Cowboys defense, it might just be fucking over for him. So I'm kind of making it this kind of almost like one of these moments that he has to get it done, otherwise he's done. So yeah, I just love the matchup. The Cowboys were last against the quarterback position in 2024. Brought up Russell Wilson last week. They're not doing much better. The only reason that he get more torched by the Eagles in week one is because of probably the lightning delay, but just the fact that the Eagles don't give a shit this year. They just basically are scoring just enough points to get a win and nothing else. So yeah, I just think the matchup's great. I think both teams are going to be able to score a lot of points in this game. And I think it's going to be one of these games where Caleb actually looks good for fantasy. So I've actually got him as a top 6 quarterback this week.
Oh. And Cam, you're nodding a lot through that about the Cowboys defense being horrible. And this is kind of the crystallizing moment for Caleb. You agree with a lot of this? Top 6 sounds pretty steep. You in?
Top 6 is pretty high, but look, Caleb actually he's not a zero with his legs, right? He's actually looked really athletic, especially in that first game. He had a rushing touchdown, looked really good. Last week, Russell Wilson looking like goddamn 2013 Peyton Manning out there. It was just pitiful. Turns out they missed Micah, so it's I think that's a great call. I think it's a great call.
He has never thrown more yards in a game in his entire life, Russell Wilson, than last week. And after everyone said he doesn't have a long ball in him, and look at that. So, look, if you're going to pick on someone, what a great defense to pick on, Tay.
Yeah. It's the NFC Bengals, where they're just going to get torched for a fucking year. And this is why I liked Dak in fantasy this year, Matty. He's the quarterback I have the most shares of because I think he's going to be passing a shitload because his defense isn't going to be able to stop anyone on the other side.
Absolute pass that defense. Cam, do you have a quarterback you wanted to big up for breakout this week?
Yeah, look, man, I looked around a bit. I finally settled. I think, okay, now this guy right here, it's not really a long shot, but I think Patrick Mahomes is going to have himself a good game this week. I think he's going to finish as the number 1 quarterback against the Giants, who also have a pitiful defense. He's getting back Xavier Worthy allegedly this week. And I think, man, all this talk about how the Chiefs have, they're not the same and they're not going to make the playoffs and they're starting 0-2. I think they're going to come out and rip the Giants a new one. So I think Patrick Mahomes is going to throw for over 250 yards, a bunch of touchdowns. They can't run the ball right now. So, I think it's all going to be Patrick Mahomes. I think he's going to get 30 to 50 rushing yards and, maybe even a rushing score. So
he's their running game. Is that's kind of what I've learned this year is they can't do it between tackles. Mahomes is their running game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and you say it's not a deep shot, but in fantasy, Mahomes is. Honestly, he hasn't been kind of fantasy relevant for like 3 years. Like he actually has the name of a fantasy relevant player, but he doesn't actually have the stats to prove it. So to me, like this is a very, very bold call. Like obviously saying number one for almost anyone is bold as it is, but
that's bold.
In general, just saying he's a breakout with the way that this offense has been so pedestrian, I think it's a breakout call in general.
And look, he's sneaky athletic too. Like he has these back-breaking runs. He uses the rules to his advantage. People hate that, but it's just part of the game. And he's just, when he runs, it's always a back-breaking run. And he's very smart about the way he does it. And he seems to get in the end zone too. With rushing. So look, the Giants are just a complete shit show this year. So I think they're going to come out and lay one on them. So.
He's only had 13 rushing attempts this year, Mahomes, but he's already rushed for 123 yards, 2 touchdowns as a quarterback. So he's actually quarterback 4 in total scoring, which nobody expected, right? I think he was getting drafted 6th or 7th because that's what people thought he was capable of. So all of a sudden, even with not millions of attempts, he only threw 29 times on the weekend. He has got this extra way to score that he didn't have before, and you gotta tune up. You gotta listen to it. I think when the stats point you a certain way, you have to take the number off the jersey, the name off the jersey, and go, what are the stats telling me? And I mean, I don't know if I'd have him for number one, which is why this is a great breakout. But you can definitely see there's a new element to how he's scoring fantasy points this year. Even if they're not scoring a lot of points on the scoreboard, he's not throwing for 450 yards like he might have in the past. He's getting it done other ways. The quarterback I wanted to bring up is in the game against Carolina. I wanted to throw some love on Michael Penix Jr. He did have he had a bit of a rough one on the weekend where there weren't a lot of points, and the touchdown in that game came from fucking Tyler Algier, just as we all expected, by the way. The one touchdown in that game. But I think you've got to look at process and trust process, right? He's doing a good job distributing the ball. I'm concerned a little for Drake London, but this is also the game where I think potentially he can get right. Because Carolina, while they've been actually pretty good against fantasy points against opposing quarterbacks, really it's been because there haven't been a lot of situations where they've been up against someone who's willing to pass the ball so much. And I think Penix is really willing to pass the ball. Whether they're in front or not, he's willing to pass. So I've got Penix down for 23 plus points, which I think would put him around about quarterbacks 5 or 6 this week. I'm not sure he's owned in 50% of leagues at the moment either. So I feel like this is one where I am sticking my neck out. Cam, do you reckon I'm sticking it out far enough, or do I need to sharpen the pencil?
I took a look at Michael Penix too. I mean, they're going up against the Panthers. The only thing that worries me a bit about that is the running game. I mean, what did they rush for 200 yards last week? I mean, it was just but still, I mean, look, he had an awful game. Week 1 he was great. I think he has a bounce back here against the Carolina Panthers. It's a division game. And I think they're going to want to come out and really establish their, who they are. And they've got some great receivers. They've got a good tight end, Kyle Pitts, shout out. I think that's a good call. I really do. I think that's a great call. Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. Because, this is also not the Vikings defense you're up against. You're not going to Minnesota for their season opener against the Vikings and Flores' defense. So I kind of feel like this is why it's good to pick on them.
Mm-hmm.
Tay, I'm not mad, am I?
No, I like Penix. Last week was a bit of a shit show just because they led the entire way and they just kicked field goals and they didn't really have to do.
Oh, my God, they kicked field goals.
That would be my only concern again, and Cam hit the nail on the head. They're going to be able to run the ball so fucking easily against this horrendously dog shit rush defense of the Panthers. Like it could honestly just be one of these days they just run a rush for 300 plus yards and Penix doesn't have to do anything. It's honestly what you need from Penix is you just need those early touchdowns, because if they get the lead and kind of run in the second half, you just really want Penix to have 2 or 3 touchdowns in that first half to give him this sort of baseline. So it's just the luck of the draw if he passes them in or if he just hands them off to Bijan or fucking Tyler. Yeah. So that's kind of what happened with me and Kyle last week against Carolina. The defense is still horrendously bad, but it just didn't work out for Kyler because it was, a rushing touchdown and a defensive touchdown.
Yeah, I can feel this.
Sorry.
Oh, you go, Cam.
So we saw against Tampa Bay. He's not a zero with his legs. He can move. So, there's always the possibility he can run 1 and 2. So, yeah.
And he did against Tampa. But what I also sort of think is, you can lead all day in a 30-20 game where you're never more than a score and a little bit ahead. So the contest is always there. And I tell you, I also think, if this is one of those games where you're going to run for 200, 300 yards, you would have probably started Chuba Hubbard as your breakout. So I don't know that you even believe it, which gives me some faith. I'm going to lead the next position. I'm going to go to my boy at tight end. Tay, you've mentioned this guy already. Fergie Ferg plays against Chicago. Chicago have been a pit of miserable assholes for the last couple of years, and this continues. Tight end is one of these positions, though, where they haven't been horrible against, but, they also haven't been good against any position. It just wouldn't surprise me if Fergie bags himself a touchdown, a handful of catches, just enough yards to get himself 15 points. 15 points this year would have got you tight end 1 in week 1. So I'm calling that a breakout. 15-plus points for Fergie Ferg.
Love it, mate. Shout out BOWDO for fucking under 7 in tipping point last week. That was a great one.
Oh my God. I can't believe you got him to stop at 7. That's what you get for picking a Cowboy with an Eagles fan.
I should have started lower. That's the only regret I had. I could have got like 5. It didn't matter because he had a good game, but that was my only regret. I thought 7 was kind of low as a starting bid, but apparently it wasn't low enough.
I love that. He's just like, no, I'm fucking out. Cool. I'm going to move straight on to Cam. Who have you got for tight end?
I'm going with the Colts tight end, Tyler Warren. Look, I think for the first 2 games for a rookie tight end, he's been incredible. He looks athletic. He looks like he belongs in the NFL, and I'm excited for him. I just traded for him in a league. I'm very happy to have gotten him. I think he's going to finally get in the end zone. I think he's going to go for over 100 yards. He's going to be the number 1 receiving option for the Colts, and I think he's going to be a top 3 tight end on the week.
He's so fucking good. Matty, you talked about things you got right in the preseason. Tyler Warren is probably my biggest.
Your national anthem, Tay. This is your national anthem.
Well, we did that. It wasn't just like in the lead up, because a lot of people were starting to talk about him like a month out, like when we were sort of getting to draft season. It was like 3 months out when we were like doing, was it even the tight end show yet? We were doing like super early looks at rookies and stuff. And I kind of earmarked Tyler Warren because thought I was going to be a lot higher on him than consensus, because I did all the stats deep dive on why I believe that the quarterback position is less relevant for fantasy tight ends than any other position, because we just saw Brock Bowers out with fucking absolute turd sandwiches of quarterback the year before, and it didn't actually seem that the quarterback position correlated with the tight end success every single year. It was kind of a hit and miss in terms of needing that kind of high end quarterback. And the second biggest thing was target share. Like, you needed a tight end. Yes, you had like Sam Laporta 2 years ago who just did it with touchdowns, but generally to get an actual breakout at tight end, you need to basically be the number 1 on your team, the number 1 receiving option that Cam just brought up. And to me, Warren was that chance, because I felt like there was an opportunity that he would beat out like Michael Pittman and Josh Downs. And it's honestly what's happened. He's just so good. They're actually using their number 1 fucking draft pick, unlike the Bears. And they're actually like getting return on investment. Sorry for the drive-by, Kev, but honestly, they went out and got their guy and they're using him. It's the fucking best. Steichen wanted a tight end that he could use, kind of like Dallas got it when he was at the Eagles, and they've found their guy, and he's dominating. I love the call by Cam. I just love fucking Tyler Warren. I've grabbed him in a bunch of dynasties, and I have him in a whole bunch of different redrafts because I saw this coming, and I think I had him at tight end 6 or 7 or something in my rankings. I absolutely love it.
Yeah, you were way up on him because of that. And you first mentioned this, it wasn't even in the tight end show. It was 1 full month before that when we did rookies for redraft. So this is just kind of going back to how far ago you called all in on the Tyler Warren experience. And that was before you knew who the quarterback was, because we didn't actually even know who the quarterback was going to be to start this team up until a fortnight before the season kicked off. So, yeah, I mean, it just goes to show, Cam, I love the call too. I am in more leagues than I care to count, but I don't have a single share of Tyler Warren, and shame on me. Absolutely shame on me.
I agree with that. Shame on you.
And, remember when rookie tight ends were pretty much untouchable? You couldn't play them. And now it's like we just had Laporta, Bowers, and now we've got this kid who's coming in. I mean, it's only been 2 games, but he looks he's just, his athletic profile's off the charts. He's just, looks like he belongs on the NFL field. So, it's great to see.
Damn right. So shame on me, because I'm an old fuddy-duddy who's like, back in my day, rookie tight ends took 3 years to develop. And, mate, it's just fucking wrong. I know I've failed to evolve. And this is where, like the guy who goes out and picks up Tyler Warren as his, tight end 9 or whatever, and is the second last guy to get a tight end and gets him way late in the draft, now gets his bonus bump from having a guy who's producing like a top-end tight end, and he gets that massive discount. So that's where a guy like me with my old fuddy-duddy values just kind of fails. But we have still got Tay. You've got your tight end to come?
Yes, and I'm going to pick Old Man River. This man has old, saggy balls, and he seems to still get it done. So, there is question marks about his quarterback, but I've kind of got the feeling that even if his quarterback didn't play, I actually feel like that the backup might actually utilise the tight end a little bit more than the wide receiver position. So I'm going to go Zach Ertz.
Zach Ertz.
Up against the shithouse Raiders tight end defense that we bring up every single week, basically, Matty. They were 30th against the position last year and probably 30,000th against the position in the last 5 years combined. So they just generally seem to forget about that position. What I'm going to do, Matty, I'm going to bring back an old faithful. I'm going to touchdown guarantee. Touchdown guarantee, baby.
We haven't tried out the touchdown guarantee for over 12 months.
Let's go. I don't care if it's a garbage time. I don't care when it is. It is Zach Ertz is getting that old ass in that end zone. I don't care.
I need to find that graphic. I actually went to find a stamp site where you can custom make a stamp to make a touchdown guarantee stamp, and then I just took the graphic. I didn't even buy the fucking stamp because that's how much I loved your idea of the touchdown guarantee. I'm going to find that again. What a great call.
It's been too long. It's been like old Dr. Good Call days and stuff that I was doing that. We haven't really brought it to the breakouts yet.
Fantasy.
Mate, I'm not even putting a line on. I don't care if he goes 1 for 1 with 1 touchdown. My breakout is a touchdown guarantee this week.
Mate, if he was 1 for 1 with a touchdown, he's probably tight end 6. So there you go.
Exactly. That's good enough.
Cam, you definitely haven't been with us long enough to get a touchdown guarantee reference, but we talked about Zach Ertz earlier in the show, and are you also a proponent of this when it comes to tight end? That the role is kind of the role, and maybe quarterbacking doesn't matter so much.
Yeah, I mean, look, Zach Ertz is sort of one of these guys that just he's unsexy in drafts. You might even be able to get him off the waiver wire week 1, week 2, but. He's just one of these guys that's you can just slot him in. If you've got a good team around him, around your tight end, just as long as they're giving you 10, 8 to 12 points a week with the chance for a touchdown. I mean, you can get by in a lot of leagues like that. So, and honestly, tight end's one of those positions that because of the stature of them, they usually, it doesn't matter who's throwing the ball, they're going to target them because they're big targets with good hands, and they're usually out in the middle of the field getting covered by linebackers. So, I think that's a great call by Taylor. Yeah.
Honestly,
you've also been watching. Sorry,
my last little point too is Cliff Kingsbury just fucking loves him. Like he must be his best man at his fucking wedding. He absolutely loves Zach Ertz, and he obviously sort of runs his game plans around him because he loved it in Arizona, and then he's brought that over to.
Can't know about that, mate. You've actually been watching the NFL long enough. Do you remember a time when the Raiders had a defense that could actually stop tight ends? Because I've been watching NFL football for maybe 23, 24 years, and I've never known the Raiders to be able to stop tight end. So this is kind of a cultural thing where it's just like every year you can just go in fantasy and go, oh, I need a breakout candidate or I need a waiver wire tight end this week. Oh, who are the Raiders playing? Has it been that long? Am I making this up?
It's been fucking forever. It's honestly like the Titanic old woman meme. It's been 84 years. I cannot remember a season.
Cam, can you remember?
That used to be the Cardinals forever before we got BOWDO Baker. I mean,
yeah, that's true.
Yes.
If there was a tight end, you would stream him against the Cardinals. It was like every year, and you could just stream that guy. You didn't even need to set one. You just grab him and playing the Cardinals, and you're gonna score. You're gonna at least get a touchdown and 70 yards, 10 catches. You know what I mean? It's just 100%. Always targeted But yeah, BOWDO's sort of fixed that for the Cardinals. But there's always a team every year that you seem to be able to target. You can stream a tight end against them and do pretty well. So
just leave that middle area of the field vacant as shit. And it's been the Raiders for at least the last, I want to say 7 years.
I
seem about right.
I hear BOWDO Baker's name and not think of like the fucking not Billy Madison, the Happy Gilmore fucking like Frankenstein dude, like chasing Shooter McGavin was exactly like DK Metcalf fucking chasing BOWDO Baker down. Just like, I believe that's Mr. Gilmore. So they just like, and DK Metcalf is so much bigger than BOWDO Baker, but he was just so much faster. It was insane.
Oh my God.
He seriously had like 20 yards on him when he fucking caught that. And he was on the move already. Like,
and facing the wrong way.
And
DK's headed into the end zone and BOWDO Baker's running the other direction. It's like, oh shit, I better chase that.
From memory too, Cam probably remembers better being a Cardinals fan, but I'm pretty sure they got a stop then too. I'm pretty sure like he tracked him down like 3 yards out, and I swear it was at best a field goal. Like they either got a complete stop or it was a field goal. Like they didn't even get a touchdown. So it saved the points.
I think you're exactly right. And BOWDO Baker's an all-pro safety in the NFL, and that's the play he's known for. You know what I mean? Like that's for it's the only play he's known for. I can't name another BOWDO Baker play, but that's the track down. So.
Well, we're going to wrap this segment out now. We're going to go to the wide receiver position for our breakout at wide receiver. Cam, I'm going to give you the honors here. Who is your breakout at wide receiver so we can wrap this one up for the punters?
Well, I'm going to take a wide receiver from my game of the week, which is the Detroit Lions versus the Baltimore Ravens. And my breakout wide receiver is going to be Jameson Williams.
Jamo!
Look, week one was a bit rough for old Jamo, but last week we saw what he can do. Look, it was low volume, 2 catches for however many yards, and the touch. Look, he was great last week, and you saw what he could do. I think the Lions, they got embarrassed by the Ravens last year, and I think they're going to come out to play. We saw what they can do last week, so I'm going for Jameson Williams. He's going to be a top 8 wide receiver, looking at 25 fantasy points. And he's gonna win people weeks this week. So,
Tay, did you just finish in your pants because you love Jameson Williams?
Yeah, I've finished a few times during this podcast, Matty, but that was an extra one. I just had. I was big on him this year, and obviously it was a slow start, but I just think there's going to be a lot more games where the Lions need to pass this year. I mean, obviously they didn't have to against the Bears, that they just fucking kicked the shit out of them anyway. That's like the standard Dan Campbell style. But I do feel like in this game specifically, they are going to need to be passing a lot against the Ravens. The Ravens are a very good rush defense, so they're going to need to be like run through the air in a way. So yeah, I can imagine there being like one massive breakout play for JMO, and that sets up your week straight away. And there might even be a second one in this game. I think it's going to be very high scoring. So yeah, I love the call.
While we're enjoying the love here, have you got a wide receiver to bring it home?
I do, and he probably, he's going to be not a shock to you, Matty. See, outside of probably my boy Keenan Allen, honestly, I think this guy is just taking the mantle to my favourite wide receiver. I've been all over him in a dynasty aspect since he came into the league, and I've just been always wanting. He basically had 2 wide receivers in front of him as soon as he came to the league, and I've just wanted him to get this opportunity, and he's finally got the opportunity. And the only drawback I had in draft season was his quarterback, and I feel like he's just proven that he's completely quarterback proof, and it's JSN. I fucking love JSN. My God, he is just such a crisp route runner, whether he's on the outside or in the slot. He is just going to be a pass funnel for this team. I know. I still don't trust Darnold. It's honestly, if you just put a middle to higher end quarterback there that I trusted a bit more, I would be just fully in love. I would trade everything. I would trade the farm for him, and it's the only drawback I have in terms of his ceiling week to week. But I do think he gets a very good matchup here. The Saints were 26th against the wide receiver position last year. I do think they're going to be able to just feed him. He's just going to be a volume hunter all year. I do feel like a touchdown's coming. I do feel like there's going to be, a connection there as the season goes on with Darnold. And I do feel like this is the kind of game where he could break out. So I've got him as 25 plus PPR points because, honestly, in full PPR, the guy gets anywhere between 8 to 12 catches in games, and you've got 8 to 12 points right there. And if he's getting 100 yards, he almost gets there even without a touchdown. So I just trust him so much. He's just an amazing receiver, and he's only going to get better.
One of the most trustworthy receivers in fantasy, Cam.
Yeah, I love JSN, man. I made the worst mistake I think I made during draft season was taking Lad McConkey over JSN. I did it in a couple leagues, man, and it's just, it's been horrible for the first 2 weeks, but man, JSN's just great. I mean, he's one of these guys that, he came from Ohio State, highly drafted, and he's just, it took him a year, but man, he's been lights out the last couple seasons, and it looks like he's the number one with a stamp there in Seattle. And and look, Sam Darnold didn't look great week 1. Week 2, he looked much better. So hopefully they get their shit together, and that's just one of those, wide receiver quarterback duos that, that's prolific for fantasy all year. So
yeah, my wide receiver to wrap this one up, I'm just picking on a bad defense with a guy who I expect to be the first place the ball goes in an offense. And I'm taking DK Metcalf against New England Patriots secondary. It's in New England, which I don't know if that'll make a big difference for Aaron Rodgers or not. I just expect DK to be the biggest presence on that in that passing game. He's going up against a defensive secondary who are 31st against for wide receiver points this year on the small sample size, but it does indicate that they've got issues. And I think this is probably the first place the ball goes against a defense who's just having trouble stopping the ball through the air. They're this is all you need in fantasy is you don't need to win the game. You just need to follow the numbers. And to me, this is where the numbers lead me. Cam, you're sort of nodding there, but you don't look 100% convinced, mate.
Oh, look, I think DK. No, that's a great call. Look, DK is clearly the number one there. They paid him a lot of money, and he's got a competent quarterback. Patriots just gave up a ton of yards to the Dolphins, so I think that I think Steelers are gonna have a good game, and that's a great call on DK. So yeah,
I mean, Tua's only got half an active brain, and look at what happened. Tay, we're pretty sure Aaron Rodgers has at least half an active brain left, even after all the ayahuasca and darkness retreats, right?
Well, it seems like overs. I'd take the unders on that one.
I should have brought him up for tipping point, but I haven't. So that's one guy you can scrub off your list if you guys were nervous. I've taken DK for 20 plus points. I just kind of feel like that's a pretty easy one that he'll just command it. And if he gets a touchdown, I think that will boost it. But I just feel like whatever's happening in the game is getting up with enough volume to get him 20 points without too much concern. Well, that was my wide receiver. Hey, fellas, thank you so much for doing that one with the breakouts. We'll come back and we'll get a score on that next week. And, mate, Cam, I don't know how you don't outperform BOWDO, and I think you should probably get in BOWDO's DMs later in the week and give him a little bit.
Yeah, we'll do.
Yeah, I think he can take it from you too, mate.
Yeah.
We are going to jump into the game that has taken Australia by storm. Tay, tipping point wasn't your favourite segment after week 1. I feel like you might like it a bit more after last week.
Well, I got to keep it. It didn't go to BOWDO. It's still Taylor's tipping point. How amazing is that? It was looking like it could have been a bit dicey. Might have lost my segment. But look, it stayed as Taylor's tipping point. I had a very good week. I basically evened out. I know we're not doing an aggregate, but it was nice to get the 4-1 back in my favour. So, mate, looking forward to this week.
Yeah, he come in plucky, BOWDO, didn't he? He's like, if I win this segment, I'm just going to come back every week. And we're going to rename this segment. And he said the same about starts of the week, too. He's like, if I win this, oh, mate, I'm just going to be the world team captain every week. I just love how he comes in with his chest out.
It's like the old saying, it's like, if you're going to say something, say it with confidence. He was just like giving us shit the entire time. Goes out and just throws out an absolute fucking stinker in basically every segment. But he said it with confidence, so that's all that matters.
I'm so impressed with BOWDO. I'll give you a quick recap on this one. Joe Burrow was the first guy I brought up. We put the line at 26. And, of course, Burrow gets hurt, so he goes out with 7. But, mate, it is difficult to tell whether he ever would have made the mark. He was projected 21.58. Either way, he doesn't get to 26. Taylor wins that one. Then we moved down to Cortland Sutton, who had a real stinker as well. BOWDO got it up to 14.5. He was projected 14.2, and he ended up with 1.6. So Taylor up 2-0. Then you go to Devon Archain at the running back. BOWDO capped it at 19 points before Tay was out. He was projected 20.21. He throws up a 26. So BOWDO brings one back. Mate, tight end. He bailed at 7, Tay. You threw 7 out there and he jumped?
Oh, it was hilarious. He was not a fan of Fergie Ferg.
How low could he have gone? He reckoned at 5 he might have flirted with going by a half. And here you go. He goes and gets... 16.8, by the way. So, Tay, you win that one, which gives you a 3-1 lead in the segment. And then I couldn't resist but put Jalen Hurts in front of an Eagles fan as the 5th guy. And, of course, BOWDO took it all the way up to 25.5. He reckons he would have stopped at about 70, 75. He scored 11.5. So, Taylor picks that one up 4-1. It means after Jackson just got out the cleaners in the first week and went 4-1 as well, it means that if you were doing an aggregate, it would be 5-all. But really... it's do you win the week or not? So the series is tied at 1. Cam, are you looking forward to this show, this little segment? Because, you don't know what's coming. You can't possibly be prepared.
No, 100%, man. So, yeah, I'm excited. Let's get to it. Sure.
I try to pick people each week too who are either a bit topical or people who you might think could have a bit of a blow up just to see how high the score goes or just to see where people are going to put their chin out. So I've got 5 guys here. You kind of have to have opinions on people to play this game. Cam, I know you've got opinions on people, which is how I know you're going to be great at this game. And I'm going to kick it to you to kick it off about someone we just talked about. Jackson Smith-Njigba is going up against the New Orleans Saints. The rules with this game, you can start with whatever number you want. You can raise by as many points at a time as you want. You can use increments of points. You can go a half point. We haven't had anyone go smaller than a half a point, but it's decimal scoring, so you can move in tenths of points if you want. Where do you want to start the bidding on Jackson Smith-Njigba against the New Orleans Saints at home against the Saints?
Let's start him off at 14.
Whoa, Tay.
Is that a lot?
I'll go 15.
I'll go 16.
Give me 17.
Let's go 18.
19 for me.
Oh, you guys love him.
Ooh, 20.
Still whole points. This is amazing.
He knows I've given up. I don't have any leg to stand on after my breakout call. That's the problem.
And I'd chosen this before the breakout segment. Did he just say 21?
Yep.
21 and a half.
Love this. I can't go against him. A part of me just wants to hedge and go, all right, well, if it goes over, my breakout call fucking wins. Oh, I can't be the guy that goes under on JSN, though.
He's tortured.
22.
Sold.
Yes.
Oh, he's out. Capped it. Okay. 22.
I got a 3-point buffer from my breakout.
That's a good game.
Okay, he's projected for 20.21 on sleeper in standard scoring. We've got Tay locked in at 22. He's also said he'd like to see him as high as 25 from the breakout segment. So there's a good start with the wide receiver. Let's shift gears. Let's go to a different position. I want to also move to a position of someone we've talked about. This is so funny because I choose these people well in advance of getting together, and you guys have no idea who I've picked. But it's just kind of funny that these people we've talked about. I'm going to start with Tay on this one because we heard Cam mention Tyler Warren, who's playing at Tennessee this week. And Cam, he's kind of stuck his chin out on that, but you also joined the circle jerk day. Where are you going to start on Tyler Warren?
That is a real group circle jerk. It's a soggy sayo on Tyler Warren.
A soggy sayo.
I haven't heard that in a long time.
Okay, you take it, Tay. I'm out.
10 million.
I need a minute to cleanse the palate after that.
We've lost our clean rating that we never had. We'll start it up. Well, let's go 12.
See, and this was one of my breakouts. So, I'll go 13.
Let's go 14.
15.
16.5.
Wait, is it half PPR or
full?
Full PPR.
PPR.
I'll go 17.
Man, my boy, I can't. You started with two boys, and I think Matty's done this on purpose because he's seen me go unders a fuck ton. He's like, I'm just going to give Taylor's boys. He's going to sell the farm for the overs. 17.5.
Oh!
18.
Oh!
18.5.
Oh, man. 19.
Look.
I'll let Cam have him. I'm going to go under.
19 points. Oh, my God. Cam, Tay, you two are the best.
Putting my money where my mouth is on that one. So
yeah, we both had a breakout on the line. We had to go on.
100%.
Put the money where everyone's mouth is. That's going to feed whole countries. That's going to end poverty. Jesus Christ.
I don't love being on Tyler Warren, though.
Tyler Warren at Tennessee this week is projected 13.04. We've got him locked in at 19.
Hammer the over.
Hammy D. I'm so impressed with you boys. You've really fucking brought it. The next three, I am so glad that they're not your boys because I don't think I have the capacity to handle three more of what we just went through there. I'm going to shift into the running back. We did talk about this game, but not this player. We've got Jahmyr Gibbs at Baltimore. We've been questionable against the run this year in a tiny sample size, generally pretty stout. Okay, I'm going to kick it to you to start the betting on Jahmyr Gibbs at Baltimore.
Jahmyr Gibbs, full point PPR. I'm going 15.
Yeah, I'll go to 17.
Solid start.
17. I'll go 18.
Right. 19.
19.5.
20.5.
21.
21.5.
Deuce. 22.
Yeah, it's had another half. 22.5.
23.
23.5.
24.
Oh my God, I don't have words.
I'm going to go under.
Boys cap 24. Wow, you boys, this is like waiting to see who blinks. It's fucking fantastic. Got 24 points. Cam's locked him in. Jahmyr Gibbs at Baltimore in sleeper standard leagues, full PPR, 19.98. And we've got a 24. I love this. Going to move to the quarterback. The quarterback in question, Tay, we've actually talked this guy up in different formats. Jordan Love at Cleveland this week. He's played relatively well. I mean, in fantasy, he's been pretty solid. When do you want to start the bidding on Jordan Love at Cleveland?
Let's go 15.
Oh, yeah, I'll go 16.
Let's go 15.
Do you say 16.5? Sorry, broke up.
I went 18.
Oh, 18. 18.5.
19.
You know what? I'll take the under on that.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Oh, 19.
I think it'll be a big Josh Jacobs game. So
the way I saw this game was I kind of looked at it the opposite. I think they might be able to stifle Jacobs a bit, and it might be what you and I talked about in the preseason, Matty, where it's like not going to him on the goal line and it is a Jordan Love passing game, because like we just saw fucking Cleveland just keep Derrick Henry to 20 yards on the ground. I'm like,
what the hell?
Anything like that again, like to Jacobs, like I do think it's going to have to be through Love. So that's the only reason I had some conviction on him. But look, if it goes the complete opposite way and Cam's right, I wouldn't be surprised either. But I just had some conviction on Love this week, even though technically the Browns have got a decent defense. But you just saw like Lamar four passing touchdowns. I'm not saying Love is Lamar, but it seems like it has to go for the air against the Browns.
Okay.
Yeah, look, I think we've seen some low-scoring games with the Packers. That defense is just stifling.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, they look like the best defense in the NFL, and I don't think it's particularly close. So, but yeah, I mean, look, you could go either way. They could, you could throw a couple touchdowns early in the game, and I mean, look, you've got Myles Garrett, and then that defense actually has held up pretty well, considering they were probably a bottom three team coming into the year. So, I mean, obviously when you got Myles Garrett, it makes things pretty easy. But yeah, I think it'll be a good game though.
I think it will be. And early on, when I first looked at the draw, I'm like, oh, man, I reckon maybe Josh Jacobs might be my running back breakout. And then I dive into some numbers. I'm like, oh, actually, I'm going to scrub that. And that's where I ended up with Jordan Mason. So, yeah, it just kind of reprogrammed my brain a bit. We've got Jordan Love at Cleveland projected for 18.63. Tay has managed to get that line set at 19. So I kind of like going through what players are projected to do versus where we end the line too, because it kind of maybe gives a little bit of an insight to what could be expected versus where we land when we get emotional about it, because this segment is nothing if not emotional. I've got a fifth guy. And what I like about the segment is I go through a player at each of the main positions, and then I bring a fifth, a wild card, if you will, a flex. And last week it was a super flex because I brought two quarterbacks. This week, there is a fucking bit going on in this situation. The player I'm bringing is Justin Jefferson versus the Bengals. It's going to be a game where there's two backup quarterbacks starting, but one of them is Justin Jefferson against the fucking Bengals. So this is going to be what's interesting, right, is that you've got this all-time player with this, oh, my God, quarterback against this, oh, my God, secondary. But this is going to be a real who believes in Justin Jefferson this week. Tay, where do you want to start? No. Let's give the guests a go. Cam, where do you want to start the bidding on Justin Jefferson versus Cincinnati with a all-time weird backup?
Well, I think, Justin Jefferson's historically done pretty well with gingers thrown in the ball. So I'll start off with 14 PPR points for Justin Jefferson.
Tay, were you ready for the ginger analysis? I was not.
I did bring back some memories from our early days in the podcast.
Sunbird Happy Meal.
Yeah, need to slip, slop, slap. I'll go 15 and a half.
Okay.
16 and a half.
17 and a half.
18.
It's tasty, isn't it? It's so tough.
18.5.
Man, geez, Carson went sold. I'll take the under.
You looked relieved when he said it, Cam.
I wasn't going further.
Yeah.
18.5. Okay. Tay, you've definitely done a reverse cowgirl here by taking 3 overs this week. So well done for not being a fucking eternal pessimist. But I'll read these lines out in a sec. But we've got 18.5 for Justin Jefferson. He's projected at this stage on Sleeper at 20.93. I'm not sure if it's taken in the Wentz effect or not, but 20.93 was our time of recording. Run through these and we'll just see how comfortable you guys are with it. First one's Jackson Smith and Jigbar, who is 22 points for Tay, projected 20.1 on the Sleeper app. Tyler Warren, who was also a big breakout for Cam, he took 19 points on Tyler Warren at Tennessee, where he's projected 13.04. We then moved to Jahmyr Gibbs at Baltimore. Cam took a 24-point line on Jahmyr Gibbs, where he's currently on Sleeper projected at 19.98. That's a biggie, Cam. That takes some stones. Jordan Love at Cleveland. Tay's taken the over on that one with 19 points, projected 18.63 on Sleeper. And then we wrap it up with Justin Jefferson at Cincinnati, projected 20.93. Tay got an 18.5 line, but there's some extenuating circumstances, and I understand why that one's unders. But wow, this is why this game is taking the country by storm. You can be playing at home and you can decide, gee, you've both gone too high. Gee, you've both not gone high enough. Gee, I agree with this guy or that guy. That is what I think the nation loves about this segment, Tay. You've really brought it with this segment, mate.
It's been a hit, and I think a big part of it is obviously we do a lot of analysis, we write some stuff down, and I kind of like the idea of this segment needing absolutely zero research. I like the idea of it just being one that Matty's the only one that knows what's coming up, the players that he's going to put us in the ringer with, and it's just a complete clean slate, and as soon as the player gets mentioned, it just sort of sparks the brain and thinks about the matchup and stuff like that. It's why I really thought this was a really cool idea for a segment.
And you can play at home. Cam, you've been playing at home in the first couple of weeks. You sort of listened to the lines and just gone, "You guys are fucking Pelicans."
Well, in the group chat for the podcast, man, you guys have been going back and forth about tipping points, so it's fun to be a part of it. Absolutely, man. Yeah,
it's a great little segment. I'm glad you got a crack at it too, because I know you're someone who just lives. You don't enjoy fantasy. You live fantasy. So I'm not surprised at all that you were just prepared at the drop of a hat to weigh in on the 5 guys for this segment, and that's kind of what's fun about it. So thank you for taking part in week 3 of Taylor's Tipping Point.
Another great guest is here. Are they up to the standard?
Busier than a one-legged cat in a sandbox, so I am good.
My boy!
Only one way to find out.
This is what the people come here for.
I've heard everyone's answers about these, and I've had to think about it.
5 questions. 2 dickheads. Loading.
It's definitely a different eye being cast upon you than for the first 2 segments. And you get a soft pitch out of your boy here, Matty C, who's been nothing but, welcome and love for you in even our one-on-one chats. But, mate, I'm going to kick you off with this one. What is something that most people don't know about you that you think they might find interesting?
Well, wow, that's a tough one.
It's an open book.
You know what? So I used to be Cam the ice cream man. I owned an ice cream business in the States for many years, over a decade. But now I make beanbags. So now I'm Cam the beanbag man. So I moved back to Australia and I run a beanbag business. So
I'd seen that you Cam the beanbag man in a couple of our leagues, but others you Cam the ice cream man. And I didn't want to ask because I knew this segment would probably bring this up. Yeah. What do these 2 things have in common? How do you go from one to the other?
Yeah. Yeah, well, you know what? I worked in party rentals for years, man. I was a party planner in the States. I was, I did everything from party planning to maintenance on the equipment. And then I started this small business. I just started a website, and we used to do ice cream socials for corporate events. Ended up getting a bunch of really cool customers. The Suns ticketing department was one of my customers, so I used to get like box tickets to see the Suns. I mean, it was awesome, man. So we had a blast, and it was a great company. We had a really good time, and then I ended up moving back to Australia. And my family business is they've been making beanbags for over 50 years now. So I came back to take over help with the business. My parents are getting older, so yeah, moved back and started doing that. So
I want to pitch to Tay now and go, gun to your head, ice cream or beanbag? Because I mean, they both have their advantages.
Well, the problem is I eat the ice cream and then I pop the beanbag, so it's kind of hit it in.
I feel like I need a legit CAM beanbag in my life. I feel like that's something I need to do before I get much older.
That's awesome. Yeah, Maddie would be a better target market for it, I think.
Are you kind of like Monica from Friends, Tay? Oh no, I fall into the beanbag. Oh, now I'm stuck.
I can't get up.
Oh shit. Tay, do you want to pick this one up now?
All right, now an absolutely amazing question from, as I mentioned, a distinguished gentleman like yourself. Cam, if you were in an apocalypse, would you rather be fighting zombies or aliens?
You know what, man? I'm pretty knowledgeable about this. We actually, as a family, enjoy quite a bit of zombie apocalypse programming. I think it's definitely zombies. The aliens are a lot more intelligent, right? Like aliens have, interstellar spacecraft, ray guns, who knows? Zombies are just sort of mindless, although they can be dangerous. I think they'd be easy to handle. I don't want to get probed. You know what I mean? Like, that's the last thing I want. So
it's amazing how often that comes up.
Yeah, I don't think zombies probe. Maybe I'm wrong about that. Maybe I don't know zombies as well as I think. But, as far as that goes, I think definitely the zombies, man.
Did you say aliens have ray guns? I didn't realize they had breakdancers.
I think so. I think that's pretty standard with aliens. So
I would love to see a bunch of aliens break out and do the kangaroo hop. Yeah, that weird sausage sizzle dance or whatever was going on at the Olympics there. I'd love to see a bunch of aliens bust that out. The thing that we get with this question, because you're either dealing with a super intelligent life form where the span of what is an alien could be so big, but generally what's accepted to be a zombie is much a narrower frame, and it's kind of almost like, would you rather take your dance with what you don't know or the devil you do know? You've had a wrinkle about zombies in the past, though. There's a couple of zombies that aren't necessarily like the Michael Jackson Thriller zombies. They're a bit more intimidating.
Yeah, it's like, is it like the 28 days later sort of zombies where they're just quick as fuck?
Yeah. Or Cam's like, okay.
Yeah, or like you said, it's just like the Thriller ones. They're just basically barely moving and their fucking skin's just falling off. And
they can dance like nobody's business, though, Tay. I mean, that's kind of what they got going for them. They can get a flash mob together.
Yeah, exactly. And it's funny, people keep bringing up the alien probing, and some see it as positive.
It keeps coming up.
Negative.
Cam's clearly like, well, it's not my birthday, so the butt stuff is off limits.
Yeah. One day a year.
Why do they always probe there? You know what I mean? We've got other holes. They can probe other holes. It doesn't have to always be,
I don't know. I think there's probably other holes that would be even less comfortable than that one.
That's true. You know what? Didn't think of that.
So hilarious.
I mean, once you do a stock take.
If the aliens came and then one of us said, "Oh, please don't probe me," and they're like, "What the fuck are you talking about? Why the fuck would we do that?"
But our feedback form says that it's generally enjoyable. We get 4 stars on Zoot, on Zoot review or whatever it is. Did you have a quick take on the 28 days later zombies, though? Cam, it sounds like you're familiar with them.
Yeah, so we actually, it's funny, we just watched the new one, the 28 years later. My wife and I just watched that the other night. And seems like they're like having babies in that one, and they're somewhat semi-intelligent. So those zombies seem to be a little bit more freaky than the. But those ones are fast. And then there's the World War Z zombies, and then you got the Walking Dead zombies that are just a little slower and dumber. That you can just easily,
They're the ones I think that most people have in their mind too. Is like, oh, it's a mass. It's volume, but they're dumb as shit and they're slow. And I think that's generally what people have in their mind. So it's kind of cool when you introduce the other wrinkle. But I'll move on to we've covered this subject a little bit. We've talked a little bit about your favorite NFL team. It's the Arizona Cardinals. There's great reasons for that. Very geographically important to you. When did you discover them, and what's the significance, real quick?
Yeah, well, I moved to Arizona in 2004, and then we had shortly after that we got, we made a run to the Super Bowl 2009, Kurt Warner, old graybeard, and, we were considered probably the worst team to ever make the Super Bowl at the time, but we had Larry Fitzgerald and Anquan Bolden, and, man, that team was just so much fun to watch, and it just drew me in. And I went through all the lean years with the John Skeltons and the Kevin Cobbs, and then we got Carson Palmer, and we had that legendary year with David Johnson, DJ 2K. And, man, I mean, it's just, when you live in a city with a football team, you're able to go to the games. And, man, going to an NFL game is just it's unlike any other sport. I mean, the third down noise, just getting rowdy. It's just so much fun. In Arizona, it's sort of a melting pot. You got people from all over the country that move there. So when you go to a lot of games, there's like in LA and other cities, sometimes half the stadium's full of the other teams' fans. So it's good going there and getting rowdy and talking shit. And, it's just a fun experience. But we got to experience. Man, I've got pictures of me with my little daughter there, and it's a lot of fun. So, yeah.
I love that. That's so great. The second part of this question, Tay, we love this bit.
The trapdoor.
The trapdoor. How long did it take you to realize the Cardinals suck?
The Cardinals suck. I mean, they do. I'm fan adjacent to the Cardinals right now. And you know what? It's only because I lived there for 20 years and I poured so much of my heart and soul into this team that I'm still a fan. I'm starting to lean a little more towards the Detroit Lions these days. I'm sort of a fan. I love Motor City Dan Campbell, man. Just that whole experience. It's just so much fun. Jameer Gibbs, Almon Ra, J-Mo, Laporte. I mean, it's so much fun to watch this team and just the attitude that they take on with Dan Campbell. But yeah, I mean, look, they're sort of a tortured franchise too. So it's not like I'm jumping on a Kansas City or like a New England.
The Patriots of old, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, so I feel like I can cheer for them. Still, I am a Cardinals fan, but, I'm secretly, have a dance.
You cheer for them when they're not playing the Cardinals kind of thing, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. So I've got allegiances like that. In the rugby league here, I've been very, very outwardly a Raiders fan this year when I'm always a Dragons fan. But the Dragons suck, so, it's kind of been fun to flirt with the other girl, right? So the fun thing about that, though, is that, I think you would go a long way to find people whose second favourite team isn't Detroit, right? Like, Tay, who's your second favourite team at the moment?
It's definitely been Detroit over the last couple of years.
Right?
Yeah, I don't know.
Who doesn't say Detroit? Who? You show me someone who doesn't say Detroit, it's because it's their first team. Their first team is Detroit. Everyone's second favourite team is Detroit.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. They got a lot of fun players. It's just a fun offense, and like you said, I just love it when Dan Campbell just kicks the living shit out of teams, even though they're in front. Like he doesn't, not this kind of guy that likes to run the clock out and do the sportsmanship thing. He's just like, no, fuck this. We've got 60 minutes to play, and we're going to play all 60.
And we're going to tear you guys a new one. And I love that attitude. It's the Ravens have a similar attitude towards football, and it's so much fun to watch. It's like we're not taking our foot off the gas. And as fantasy players, it's great for us. So, it was sort of like who was the old coach for the Chargers? Either way, back then, those Chargers it was so much fun to watch because they fucking hated punting. They never wanted to punt. They would always go for it on fourth down. The play was never over. It was never like, oh, it's fourth down, we're going to punt. They're going for it on their own 35-yard line, and they don't give a fuck. So
Staley?
Yeah, Staley was a maniac. Staley was a maniac.
Yeah.
And then you look at their record and you go, why do you lose so many games in torturous ways? Oh, because you roll the fucking dice. And as fantasy managers, we love that. He was mad. All right, Tay, this is another great question, Cam, and I apologise in advance. This might be the ugliest one you get.
Yeah, Cam loving Dan Campbell. Cam, the biting ankles guy. All right, here we go. Question number 4. Cam, what would you put on your NFL fantasy Tinder profile to lure a potential mate?
That's an interesting question. What would I put on my Tinder profile, my fantasy Tinder profile?
Yeah, so it's like either like a tagline, or it's like you could, if someone even wrote something that they put a photo of them with the trophy, like it's really just like something that would just be on the like front page of an NFL fantasy Tinder profile.
Let's see. Love a good tight end, maybe. And then maybe a picture of Tyler Warren with my face over his, superimposed.
I mean, I'm feeling pretty hot right now, Cam. just quietly.
Yeah, I'd match with you.
Swipe. Which way do you swipe? I don't know. Tay, which way do you swipe?
I have no idea.
Right?
We missed the we found our mate before online dating.
Cam doesn't even know which way to swipe either. Look at him, he's like, I don't fucking know.
We're the worst people to ask about Tinder questions.
Yeah, me too, mate. Me too. I missed that whole online dating thing. So
yeah, you used to have to go to the grocery store to meet a partner back in my day, mate. You had to go and do a midweek concert. That's how you met your potential mate back in my day. Oh, my God.
Go to a bar, buy a girl a drink. You actually had to walk up to them. You had to get the courage to walk up to a girl and actually, start talking.
Have a line. You had to kick it off in a way that she didn't, send the police after you. Yeah, it was a whole thing. The 90s, man.
Yeah. How would that work in the bar?
Love a good time. Don't we all? I think you're going to find it hard to get someone who disagrees with you, Cam.
Yeah.
Let's wrap this one up because you're a fantasy guy, man. You've been an NFL guy for a long time. You're a fantasy guy, and you only have to spend 2 seconds at Fantasy Football Down Under to know how much you love your fantasy. Who, in all the time you've been playing fantasy football, has been your favourite player to own? I'd say your favourite NFL fantasy player of all time, but it might just be better to say the favourite player you've ever owned.
This one's easy, man. It's Derrick Henry. I love Derrick Henry. I mean, he's won me leagues. But he's also one of these guys that is just so much fun to watch. And he's always been my favorite player to watch play football. He sort of reminds me of not so much in their running style, but just sort of how dominant they were with the ball. Sort of reminds me of, Jonah Lomu back in the day, running over guys, stiff arm. I mean, he just looked like a man playing with boys, and I've just always loved Derrick Henry. Unfortunately, I didn't draft him anywhere this year, unfortunately.
Okay.
But usually I have him on at least one or two teams, and he's always, even though he's not on any of my teams, I still love watching him every week. So that one's easy.
Okay. How many words did Cam just use there that would just either give you a full erection immediately or help you finish? Because there were so many. There was Derrick Henry. There was Jonah Lomu. They just kept going.
Oh, I can't breathe. The rest of my car's full now. I've finished the other half. So, yeah, I can't really breathe at the moment, mate. But, Derrick Henry into Jonah Lomu. I don't think you can find a better stack.
I've never heard that before, but that is the most suitable reference I've ever heard. How have I never heard this before, Tate?
I know. It's an amazing correlation between two absolutely massive fucking units.
I'm shooketh. And for you, an All Blacks fan who spent a bunch of years living in the land of the long white cloud, who's just wow.
Into a fucking Derrick Henry.
A lifelong Titans fan. I mean, Jesus.
Do you remember that? There's that one clip of Jonah running. It was, I think, his breakout year during the World Cup. Yeah. And there's this poor little Frenchman he's just sort of crouched down, ready to tackle him. And Jonah's he's got legs like tree trunks, and he's just getting ready to truck this poor soul. And, I just think that just sort of it just sort of reminds me of Derrick Henry, just the way they run, just the physicality, the speed of the size. And, even though Jonah was probably a little taller, but I mean, they're just so much fun to watch play.
Such a mismatch. Didn't he score like 8 tries against Japan in like 143-0 win or something like that? It's like, oh my God, this is not fair. You could have all 15 little Japanese guys leaning over Jonah Lomu, but he's a tree of a human being that can run an 11-second 100. It's just not fair. It's just not fair.
I still remember Jonah Lomu rugby on PlayStation, and he was like 8 foot tall than everyone else. And he was like, to be fair, that was probably the scale. He's about 8 foot taller than everyone else, and especially on the wing. But you just like literally couldn't tackle him in the game. It was fucking hilarious.
Cam, that has been the best answer I think we've had to that question. Certainly to Tay, I think he's he's going to be unable to speak for the next half an hour while all the blood has drained from his brain. It's going to take a little while to get back up. So this is probably as good a time as any to call up for our Friday show. Thank you so much for joining us, mate. I'm looking forward to having you back on Sunday, because we're going to go through some mailbag and try and help some punters out there with their lineup questions and some questions about what's going on in their seasons. But also we need to subject you, and I think you're going to be a great candidate for this, to starts of the week. The world had a bit of a rough week in the world gone by, and you, my friend, I think are going to be the best person to get back in there and try and restore a bit of the pluck to the world team. You're looking forward to giving that segment a bash?
Heck yeah, man. Can't wait. I've got pages of research here. So
and we've been talking about this in the last couple of days. You feel like, mate, I am ready. So I can't wait to see how you tackle the segment. Problem is, Tay won that segment last week, so he fucking thinks he's like Lord of the fucking Rings over there, and he's like, I will dangle this in front of you. You will never know the draft order. You've been a bit insufferable, mate.
Oh, yeah, and that was my plan all along. I didn't want to win and be not insufferable. That would have just been fucking stupid. So, mate, I wanted to give you and basically the entire world as much shit as I could. So I feel like I've achieved my goal, and the plan is to do that again this week.
Mate, I'm looking forward to that. We'll be back for that. That is our Sunday show. In the meantime, we've had the NFL Supercoach Halfer drop yesterday. We're going to have G'day Gridiron parachute their way in here for tomorrow, where they're going to break down a whole bunch of the upcoming games. They sort of do a game they each want to watch, plus the Monday Night Football. And I'm looking forward to that. They always do such a great job of that. And then Cam is going to join us again for the Sunday show, where we're going to do what we just described, and I'm looking forward to doing that. In the meantime, you can find us everywhere that you can get a podcast everywhere. We're there. You can also find us on the YouTube. You can just search up on YouTube Aussie Gridiron Network or Pastry Press NFL. We're there. Aussie Gridiron Today also appears there, where Manjot and I have been hard at work amongst the ACT American Football League, and they got off to an amazing start in week 1. Can't wait to bring you week 2 there as well. You can find Cam, our guest here, at fantasyfootball_down under with an A. Cam, is there anywhere else we can find you? What do we expect from you over there?
Yeah, that's it. That's where I'm at, man. I'm just on the gram right now, but that's fantastic, man. Thanks for the plug.
You'll find this guy here on Sunday. You can find Taylor at Taylor41. You can find me at Matty Podcast. You can find us at Aussie NFL Fantasy and at Aussie Gridiron Network. Guys, we're going to get out of here. We'll see you all on Sunday. Hooroo.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
The Aussie NFL Fantasy Show. Thanks to the Aussie Gridiron Network, Australia's home for NFL and Australian gridiron content. Discover everything the network has to offer, including G'day Gridiron, Pastry Press, NFL, and Aussie Gridiron Today. Buy merch and win free stuff. Visit the mothership at Linktree /Aussie Gridiron Network. Hooroo.